Thank you, Matt. Lots changed since the last time that we were together. Our team has played well, beat a Panhandle State team convincingly where we had all players dressed out, scored 2 field goals. Not only did everyone score in the game, but everyone scored 2 field goals. And it's good to see the walk-ons get an opportunity to play and score. They do a great job in practice for us. And we turned around and had a tough game with Delaware State. They got off to a good start on us. Jumped out, I believe, to an 8-0 lead. We fought back and got the lead at about the 10-minute mark of the first half and controlled the game the rest of the way. The final score wasn't really indicative of the game. They threw in another 3-pointer from half court to make it a 1-point game. So if you just look at the ticker, it may not be the same thought process to you as looking at the final score. But it was a good win, and we withstood a barrage of 3-point shooting from a really hot Delaware State team. And then we got up early the next morning and headed to James Madison to play those guys on their home court as part of the Hardwood Classic. And Jonathan Stowe was lost to us in the Panhandle or the Delaware State game early in the first half. He had a severe bone bruise and could barely walk. He was in a boot as we flew into Dulles Airport. Bust over to James Madison. He couldn't go that night. Tried to warm up the next day and couldn't. Frank Bartley got us off to a great start against James Madison, hit some shots, and Jay Wright kicked it in, and we had a very good first half and started off 6-0, and then they went ahead of us. I believe it was 13-12 for their only lead. We got it right back at 14-13 and led the rest of the game. We're up 20 the majority of the second half. And Justin Miller had a great second half. Waddell Brown had a solid game for us, and Bryce was really good on the boards and even getting double teamed on every block out. He was still able to get double-figure rebounds. So good win for us. Kind of nice to play an afternoon game and have a nice dinner, and then get up the next morning. Took off for Ragin Airport and flew back into New Orleans, bust a couple of hours, and came over to my house for Thanksgiving dinner, the ones that didn't eat with their own families, and started preparing for the last game in Blackham on Saturday against Texas Southern. We had 2 good days of practice, besides a fire alarm going off both days in practice for about 10 minutes. It was a pretty good distraction, I guess. But we were able to go out and beat a good Texas Southern team, a team that won 4 straight ball games. They'd won at LaSalle, they'd won at Rice, and very talented team. They get off to a good start shooting the ball, and we have to play catch up. We catch them at the end of the first half and get the lead for good, I believe around the 14-minute mark of the second half, and finish the game out at the free throw line like the way that it should be finished out. I was proud of our guys. We're excited now to come in the Cajundome. As Matt said, we won 4 straight games in November for the first time in school history, which is a pretty good accomplishment for this group. And we're looking forward to playing a strong Nichols team on Thursday night to open the season at the Cajundome. They are 4-3. They've had a couple of really good road wins. They won at Boston College, beat an ACC team to open their season. They also had a really good win at Samford on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening. And they're going to come in with a new coach. They're a junior-senior oriented team, just like James Madison was. They have no freshmen on their roster. They're very mature and have older, experienced players in the backcourt. They rely heavily on the three-point shot. They're averaging over 10 makes a game. And Arlington's leading our league at 9, so they'll be leading our league in three-point makes per game. We're at 7.2. So we'll have our hands full defending the three-point line. It's something that we've been hurt with a little bit. We've been outscored from the three-point line by 39 points, but yet we've outscored our opponents at the free throw line by 36. So we neutralize that when you continue to shrink that margin, and I feel confident we will. We've been shooting the ball very good in practice, and we haven't taken as many threes as our opponents either. It's a good sign. We've been getting good inside play, and Justin and Bryce played very well to both get double-doubles against a talented front line from Texas Southern. We're leading the league in scoring offense, averaging 87 a game. We're leading the league in scoring margin, leading the league in turnover margin, and we're leading the league in rebound margin. So doing some good things on the court, and look forward to getting out there against Nichols State on Thursday night.
Coach, the big rebounding night from Justin, how good was that to see? I mean, earlier he hadn't done that, and what went into that?
Well, he did in the second half against James Madison, Kevin. He had, I think, 7 maybe, and really made a couple of big plays for us against a very large team. James Madison, McLean, their point guard, was 6 feet, and no one else on their roster was shorter than 6'4". So they were very big in front, but yet we used our strength and quickness to go over some of those taller guys, 6'10", 6'11". And Justin stayed with it. He had a huge put-back basket and got fouled in the middle of the second half, which really was an exclamation point to me on our victory.
What have you liked most about Justin and Bryce's kind of playing together? It seems like they've developed some kind of inside chemistry.
I told you guys when we signed Justin that he was similar to Bryce in the fact that he's a below-the-rim player, a very good passer, good rebounder, very skilled. And we've got 3 post guys that we can play for if you count Bryce, and they're all different. You know, Lorenz gives us certain things, and he didn't get the opportunity to play much the other night. Marvin Jones didn't play a lot for Texas Southern. And Scotty Plaisant, same thing. So those guys have been practicing well. They'll get an opportunity too. But Bryce and Justin are more skilled. And Justin's really, he understands what we're trying to do. He's a great competitor. He played on a team that was loaded with Division I talent, and he practiced every day against bigger opponents. So he knows how to get the ball in the basket, and doesn't help that he's a good free throw shooter. He went 6 for 8 Sunday. Split a pair late, but besides that, he made them all.
Miller had one pass, if I remember right, to Bryce under the basket that was really impressive. What does, when you have strong passing big men, what does that allow you to do that you would not be able to otherwise?
Well, it helps you move the basketball, Tim, with interior passing, and they're very good at high-low and low to high, even on the dive against man or zone. And we're going to be able to get it out and make the extra pass and hopefully get some wide open threes, which will help our percentage even more. We should see a lot of zone against Nichols, so you'll get a chance to see these guys pass the ball to each other as well as their teammates on Thursday night.
What did you guys think about the venue when they practiced for the first time? Like Gary was saying, the lighting, what did you and Dave think about that?
No, there's nothing wrong with the lighting. I mean, Gary's always got something. So, but it was fine. It was beautiful. Our guys were excited. Justin Miller thought it looked like Indiana Pacers arena. I mean, it looks like an NBA arena. You'll be impressed when you see it. We paid for goals and helped out. Dr. Savoy helped out on the floor, and it's a first-class arena.
Just given how many youngsters you had on this team or players that weren't kind of in the fold last year, we all kind of figured you'd get where you wanted to get March, February. Are you kind of surprised, or I guess how pleasantly surprised are you that they're playing this well this early?
Well, we go into every season saying there's not a team on our schedule we can't beat, and there's not a team that can't beat us. And you know, Minnesota was a tough test. We got off to a slow start. They lost their first game last night at Florida State. So we expected to grow, but we knew that we could play well, and we were very disappointed when we lost at Montana State because we had that game under control, and we lost on a whistle with 2.1 seconds to go. And we said after that game in the locker room before a tough trip home the next day, you know, Bryce said we're going to start a streak. And we've been able to do that. So the mentality's there, the chemistry's there, they're a good passing team, as we talked about before. All the things we talked about in the first media meeting is happening, and they're an exciting team to watch. You know, Jay mentioned that the other night on the radio. A lot of people have contacted me and said the same thing. So we're excited about going into the Cajundome. We're excited about this style of basketball we play. And we're excited for our fans to come out and support this young team that only has one senior.
Where'd you get on your season ticket count that you were hoping to get?
Didn't get a final count yesterday. Tim from Matt, but we're still a couple of hundred away from the season ticket record, and we've lagged. We're doing very well. We've improved, I think, each year over the last maybe 4 years. Unfortunately, we had some tickets that were canceled last week, so that's disappointing, and hopefully that'll stem. I hope our fans come and support this basketball team and support our university.
Significant number?
Double figures, which is sad.
Coach, the floor, without saying anything about it, what does it, and just in general, what does it do? I mean, what do you like? Not that the way it looks, but what can it do for you? What do you like that it can do?
There's not going to be another one like it in the country. Praters that did the floor from Chattanooga are going to use it as a benchmark for them. The head of their company came down and make sure that it was installed correctly, and they were amazed at the layout and the design, and they were able to put it together exactly the way we wanted it.
Kind of like I asked Gary, just what has this done? You showed prospective student athletes probably just drops, but to now be able to walk them through everything, I'd imagine the coaching staff expects is going to be a huge boom to your recruiting efforts.
It certainly should help. We've got the floor is really nice, the seating's nice, the lighting, everything's more fan friendly. We've got a timeline in there, we've got a pro wall, we've got banners, we've got more things that are coming that weren't able to be completed that we were discussing last night. But just the atmosphere, when you walk out on the court and when you guys are down at court level tomorrow night covering the game, it's a totally different look. The arena looks much larger because of the seating, and we were used to that open space behind the benches and behind the media table on the other side. You don't have that anymore. It's behind our basket. It's a little different sight line now because we've got seats going all the way to the top. And it's definitely gives a different look, and we're very proud of the building. We think it's going to help us in recruiting. We certainly have shown it off, and I know Greg Davis, Phil Ashurst, and all the people at Cajundome are very excited and proud of it as well.
Gary kind of talked about how he felt a part of it from the first. I mean, and before was it kind of a building that UL basketball played in, but now it's kind of a UL basketball building. Do you kind of
well, they've
feel that
certainly.
way, or?
I felt like it was always our building. That's where we've always played since I've been here. And we don't have another place to play except Blackham, and we had an undefeated year in there this year, so we're excited about it. But it's always been our home, the way I look at it. But it does have some signage, and with the banners, it certainly gives us more of a ownership.
Basketball-wise, what have you seen in an improvement over the last 4 games in your streak?
Had good moments defensively, just like the game the other day. We started in the second half. We scored, went on a 16-2 run, and were able to get stops, which fueled our offense, as we talked about earlier in the press conference about Alabama football and how we try to score off our defense. And it all starts with stops. If we're good defensively, we have a chance to be good. We're not where I want us to be defensively, not close. That's the one thing that I am disappointed about. I'd like to be a little more solid. But we've done it at the right time, and there's a time in every game where it's up for grabs, and we've taken it.
Can you talk about Frank Bartley, how impressive he's been in the beginning of the season?
Frank's done a great job. He's practiced hard. Got off to a rough start at Minnesota. He missed a couple of shots, and then took 2 charges within 2 minutes in the first half, and hurt his wrist a little bit, and just didn't score the ball for us. And since that game, he has really shot the ball well. He's been a leader, had a couple of 25-point games, plus games, and been right there. Even the game the other day, I believe it was a 4-point game when we were in the middle of that 16-2 run, and we ran a play for Frank that has 3 options to it, and he'd been taking the first option every time, and all of a sudden he takes the second option and stops behind the screen, makes a long 3 to make the game 7, and we get a stop and get it back. And you know, we run the play again, and we get him to bite. We get him a backdoor layup, get him an easy one, which was encouraging. So he's taking advantage of every opportunity. He's prepared. He's confident. And without Jonathan out there, then it's been huge for us for him to be solid.
His outside shooting, how much does that really kind of open up everything for you guys, especially inside?
Well, when you make three-point shots, it helps. And Frank's shooting over 50% from the floor. He's done a super job for us, and we need that. Jay has not shot the ball well to start with. Our three-point shooting hasn't been what we hope it would be. Jarikas is a great three-point shooter. He hasn't made one yet. You know, he struggled with his confidence a little bit. But Frank, his leadership, and you know, he's not one of the captains, but he's definitely one of the leaders on this team, and he proves it every day with his work ethic and preparation.
Are you guys trying to ease Stowe back into things with the bone?
Yeah, we thought he could play the other day, and he warmed up. He felt good. He went in and missed a shot pretty badly, and you know, I think that made the leg hurt a little worse. So. As BJ says, sometimes his feelings are hurt. He's not hurt, his feelings are hurt. But no, Jonathan has worked every day. He was in there this morning at 7:30 to get treatment, and hopefully he'll be able to play some against Nichols on Thursday as we get ready for this weekend as well. Cajundome Evans is out indefinitely, could be to start a conference. He's got a herniated disc in his back, and we'll find out a little bit more about it. But he's scheduled to have an injection this week, and they're going to bring him back slowly. All he can do is shoot right now, and he made a few yesterday. I mean, we need him. He came off the bench and had 13 at Minnesota, and that's about all he's done for us. So we need to get Cajundome back out there. P.J. Hardy's played well with Cajundome being out. Been our second leading three-point shooter. Hit a big one the other day. Solid. Does a little bit of everything for us, averaging about 24 minutes a game. And he was phenomenal yesterday in practice. So hopefully he'll continue to play well. His growth and Justin's growth as freshmen has been right on course for our team. We were hoping those two guys would step up, and Roy Dale's played better the last 2 weeks. The game's starting to slow down a little bit for him, and he's making more of a contribution, especially on the backboards.
Anything, Dave? Everybody good?
Thank you.
Thank you.